Imagine a car so powerful, so dangerous, and so extreme that it was banned from racing and couldn't be sold in the United States. A machine born in secrecy, designed for one purpose: to dominate rally racing, but instead it became one of the most controversial cars in history. This is the untold story of the Ford RS200. To understand the RS200, we need to rewind to the 1980s, during what many call the most insane era of motorsport, Group B rally racing. Group B was a class of rally cars introduced by the FIA in 1982. The rules were simple. Car makers had almost total freedom to design lightweight, insanely powerful machines. The only requirement? They had to build at least 200 road-legal versions to qualify. This led to some of the most legendary cars ever built: the Audi Quattro S1, the Lancia Delta S4, the Peugeot 205 T16, and then came Ford. Ford wanted to prove itself as more than just a maker of family cars. They wanted glory in motorsport, and Group B was the perfect playground. So they created the Ford RS200, a car that looked like a spaceship, sounded like a beast, and drove like nothing else on Earth. Ford didn't take shortcuts. Instead of modifying an existing road car, they built the RS200 from scratch. It had a mid-mounted 1.8L turbocharged Cosworth engine, producing up to 450 horsepower in race trim. Power was delivered through an advanced all-wheel drive system, giving it insane grip. The chassis was designed by Tony Southgate, a Formula One engineer. The body was lightweight fiberglass, designed by Ghia in Italy. On paper, the RS200 was a masterpiece. It could go 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds, faster than most supercars of its time. But there was a problem. The car was brutal to drive. Its turbo lag was monstrous, and when the power finally kicked in, it was like being hit by a sledgehammer. It was fast, but it was also unpredictable. In 1986, Ford entered the RS200 in the World Rally Championship. Hopes were high, but tragedy struck. At the Rally of Portugal, an RS200 lost control and crashed into a crowd of spectators, killing 3 people and injuring dozens more. Although the crash was caused by reckless spectators standing too close to track, the RS200 became a symbol of the dangers of Group B. Just a few months later, another deadly crash involving Lancia at the Tour de Corse killed star driver Henri Toivonen and his co-driver. The FIA had seen enough. By the end of 1986, Group B was banned forever. The Ford RS200, designed to be a world champion, was suddenly useless. To meet Group B's homologation rules, Ford had already built 200 road-going versions of the RS200. These were supposed to bring the technology of rally racing to the streets. But after the ban, they became collector's items instead. The road cars were tuned to around 250 horsepower, but even then, they were insanely fast. Ford also produced a few Evolution models, which cranked power up to 600 horsepower, and some were later tuned to over 1,000 horsepower, making them among the fastest cars in the world. But there was another problem: the United States. Banned in the U.S., the Ford RS200 could not be legally sold in America. Why? Because of strict U.S. safety and emissions regulations. The car was never crash tested or certified for the U.S. market, and Ford never bothered to adapt it. That meant American fans could only dream of owning one, unless they went through expensive loopholes like the show or display law years later. This forbidden fruit status only added to the RS200's mystique. Although it never won a championship, the RS200 became legendary. It appeared in video games like Gran Turismo and Colin McRae Rally. It became a symbol of the wild, dangerous Group B era. And today, surviving RS200s are worth over $500,000 each. What was once a failure is now one of the most sought-after collector cars in the world. The Ford RS200 story is bittersweet. It was born in an era of excess, banned before it could shine, and forbidden from the American market. But its legacy lives on. The RS200 represents a time when motorsport was raw, dangerous, and unrestricted. A time when manufacturers pushed the limits of engineering, sometimes too far. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us of the thin line between brilliance and disaster. The Ford RS200 wasn't just a car. It was a legend forged in fire, banned in its prime, and immortalized by history. So, what do you think? Was the Ford RS200 unfairly banned? Or was it simply too dangerous for its time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the untold story of the Ford RS200, hit that like button, subscribe for more epic car histories, and share this video with someone who loves rally racing. Because stories like these deserve to be remembered